and legacy of Rodolfo, Agui, Aguinaldo, Aguila of Cagayan. This is the story of the most brutal Filipino soldier. Is it true that he dropped the NPAs he arrested from a helicopter? And did he serve the women who were with him? How did he capture the most famous NPA leader, Joma Sison? And why did Cody Aquino let them go? Who really killed him? Was it a congressman or the NPA? Let's get to know Rolando Aguinaldo, better known as Aguila of Cagayan. Let's learn about history. Disclaimer: everything we mention in this video can be found on various online sites and articles. Let's start. Rodolfo Agui Aguinaldo was born on September 12, 1946 in Pasukan, Ilocos Norte. His father was Felix Aguinaldo and his mother was Lorenzana Espejo. He was married to Lerma Dumaguete, according to an article from Lawfell. He had a previous wife, and when their marriage ended, he married Lerma on January 18, 1998. Agui studied at the Philippine Military Academy, PMA, and graduated in 1972. After that, he joined the Philippine Constabulary, PC, during the martial law imposed by President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. due to the increasing presence of rebelling communists in the country, which was fueled by chaos and ongoing conflicts between rebels and the military. Jose Maria Sison, or Joma Sison, is the founder of the Communist Party of the Philippines, CPP, which is often associated with the New People's Army, NPA, the armed wing of the CPP. His founder was Bernabe Buscaino. Agui's first position in the PC was as a second lieutenant in the notorious 5th Constabulary Security Unit, 5th CSU, where he served for nearly a decade. According to an article from Rappler, the 5th CSU was known for its connections to the leaders of the communist group, Joma Sison, and was feared for employing various methods to intimidate those captured by the rebels, such as the water cure. It's good to hear that it's the opposite of medicine, but the use of electricity and psychological torture by the leaders of his group, the Scout Rangers, demonstrated Agui's strength in defeating the rebels. Like others, he was able to win the battles he relied on, but his group soon became the top contender due to its numerous victories. This success led to many fights for human rights. The most brutal aspect that Agui is known for is his involvement with the notorious members of the Himpapawid rebels while riding in a helicopter, targeting female detainees and activists. According to activist Sadr Ocampo, a journalist imprisoned during martial law, Rodolfo Aguinaldo is particularly ruthless. In 1976, Sadr Ocampo was imprisoned. He was charged with rebellion, but was never proven guilty. He became the longest-serving political prisoner before he escaped. While in prison, he endured significant physical and verbal abuse from those opposed to him. He was placed in solitary confinement, receiving only 4 to 6 hours to make a living. He would be beaten and kissed before enduring slaps from various directions and being electrocuted on his face just to speak. When these tormentors grew tired, Agui would arrive. He is more violent than his peers. He shows no mercy to those who challenge him or blindfold him. Agui claimed he would even remove his earring and say, "Look at this," while being beaten, asserting, "No human rights to me." He recalls that Agui kicked him in the chest while wearing army boots, leaving a mark that took a long time to fade. Sadr Ocampo is the co-founder of the party list Mabayan Muna and served as a congressman for 3 consecutive terms from 2001 to 2010. On November 10, 1977, in collaboration with Agui and other PC leaders, they arrested the leader of the rebelling communists, Joma Sison, in an underground house in Barrio Pagdalagan, San Fernando, La Union, where he was sentenced to prison. In 1981, Agui was appointed as an assistant PC commander, marking the beginning of his career in the province. Agui served as an intelligence officer and led the 17th Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army and the 51st Philippine Constabulary Ranger Battalion, also known as PC Ranger. Later, he became a project officer for Oplan Katatagan in Cagayan, a counterinsurgency program reportedly planned and led by the CIA, with support from Defense Secretary Juan Ponce Enrile, who held the highest military position in the country. Following the arrest of his leader, Agui attempted to assassinate the remaining members of the NPA. In 1983, he executed 150 rebels simultaneously in Gataran, Cagayan. he facilitated their return to the government, gaining their loyalty. Agui's reputation stemmed from his last name, which he referred to as Aguila of Cagayan, due to his skill in locating rebels. Among his official and close friends, he is known as the Rambo of the Philippines for his hands-on approach and cooperation with his team during counterinsurgency patrols. This nickname references the American movie character Rambo, portrayed by the famous action star Sylvester Stallone. According to an article from the PRWC, the 150 NPA members and their relatives surrendered due to Agui's remarkable methods. The NPA members were compelled to attend meetings held by Agui. They were selected and interrogated one by one, while their relatives were not harmed. If they resisted, they faced punishment with a 2-inch thick wooden stick. Women and children were not to be touched. Agui also compelled the children of NPA fighters to surrender. After the NPA capitulated, they were sent to the CHDF, or Civilian Home Defense Forces, as civilian informers in exchange for their lives and temporary freedom. Others were incorporated into the Cagayan 100 group, his private army, which was entrusted to Marcos Sr. While serving as an officer of the Cagayan, he personally observed the conditions of the soldiers under their officers, particularly those stationed in remote areas that seemed forgotten and completely neglected. They lacked sufficient weapons and ammunition, and even their uniforms were inadequate. Most of the time, they patrolled in civilian clothes. In contrast, the rebels appeared more like soldiers, as their uniforms were complete and their weapons not only sufficient, but also highly calibrated. This is when Agui began to despair and long for change. He joined the Reform the Armed Forces movement, or RAM, founded by PMA alumni Colonel Gringo Honasan, Eduardo Capunan, and Victor Batak. It was established by junior military officers who sought reform from the corrupt system of the AFP during the Marcos Sr. administration, where patronage politics, rewarding supporters, relatives, or friends with jobs or promotions, was a means of gratitude and an incentive to continue their support rather than being based on an officer's skill and intelligence. Recently, Agui became aware of the names of 14 RAM members in his contacts at the CIA working at the U.S. Embassy in the country. This revelation fueled President Marcos's obstinacy against him, which ultimately forced RAM to abandon their mission. When the first EDSA People Power Revolution, or EDSA-1, erupted in February 1986, Agui assisted RAM in seizing control of media outlets in Quezon City. Following Marcos Sr.'s loss of power, he was appointed by Corazon Cory Aquino as the new president of the Philippines on February 25, 1986. He designated Agui as the provincial commander of Cagayan and elevated his rank to colonel. He is remembered as a gesture of gratitude and also as a testament to his involvement in EDSA-1. In replacing the president of the country, Agui and other RAM members were expected to address the issues facing the nation and to bring about the change they had fought for. However, everything shifted after Cory ordered the removal of the rebelling communists and their leaders, such as Joma Sison, Commander Dante, Bernabe Buscaino, and many others. The life and legacy of Rodolfo. Agui, Aguinaldo, Aguila of Cagayan. The life and legacy of Rodolfo, Agui, Aguinaldo, Aguila of Cagayan.